All right, so today is day 4 of Gracefully Fed by Yahuah's Design. Tomorrow's the last day. It has been a wonderful experience so far for me personally, and hopefully for um, all of you. I do want to start off with praying, and then we'll hop right in like we normally do. Yahuah, we thank you for this day. We thank you for everything you've done and everything you're going to do. I ask that this meeting be pleasing in your sight, and that everyone learn and receive what they need from you today. I ask that you pour out your Ruach HaKodesh on all of us and let us get a fresh indwelling as we learn not just about our bodies and our babies, but also learn your word and your will and your way for us this day and each and every other day. I thank you for allowing the sisters to come together and spend this time fellowshipping together and learning together, and also fellowship and learning with you in this time as well. And so I ask that this whole thing be pleasing in your sight, in Yahushua HaMashiach's precious and Kodesh name. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right.
Hallelujah.
So, shalom. So, like we talked about yesterday, today I don't have that much meat of the matter to talk about. I did leave a considerable amount of space for any questions that you guys may have. And so we get there, and along the way, feel free to ask whatever questions you have as we go along. Um, so on our agenda for today, I kind of switched it up because today I have something a little different I wanted to do. So we have the introduction, the encouraging moment, the review of the reflection questions from yesterday, the meat of the matter, and then any questions that y'all have. Like I said, anything breastfeeding related or like it doesn't just have to be about the phalanges, which is what we're going to talk about today, but anything breastfeeding related is fine. And then talking about pumping, which of course, like I said, more into pump parts, phalanges, all that stuff. And then the final tips and takeaways like we normally do. So just to switch in a little bit of the order. So introduction, for those of you that don't know, I say it again. My name is Khakmah, formerly known as Samantha. I'm a doula, a postpartum doula, a bereavement doula, a breastfeeding educator, childbirth educator, aromatherapist, and an herbalist. I always forget one of them every time, no matter what. and so, and I'm on my way to being a international board certified lactation consultant, or IBCLC. And I own Yadah, which is a women's health service, and we do all the things I just listed and more. And then why this particular summit? Because so many women have questions on breastfeeding and don't understand it, feel shame about it, do it even though they're in pain, all those things. So I want to ensure that you feel empowered to do this thing, if you so choose. And if you aren't doing it or have surpassed that time, to empower somebody else with the information that we're doing on this 5-day summit. Crazy. I've never taught a class for 5 days before, but this is by far been very rewarding. So I'm very excited about it. All right, our encouraging moment. I'm going to do the same word I did yesterday. Um, but yesterday we had a lot to cover, so I really didn't get to get into it like that. And so I'm just going to review it. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. So one of the Amas was talking to me about forsake. She was telling me that Yahuah would never leave me nor forsake me. And she said, I was trying to look up the word forsake in Hebrew, but I couldn't find it. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, oh, well, let me give it a try, right? So I found forsake in Deuteronomy 4:31. It says, "For Yahuah thy Eluah is a merciful Eluah. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he swore unto them." Right. So in that verse, forsake is Rapha, and which is H7503. And Rapha, most people know as Yahuah Rapha, so we're calling him a healer, which at first doesn't seem to make any sense that the word for healing would be the same as forsaking, because they are polar opposites, right? So what I did is I broke it down by the root. And so basically each, you find the root word, which Rapha is actually its own root word. And then you find the parent roots, which are the three that are on the screen. And then you break down what they mean by using the lexicon. So first parent root means heal or / medicine. Second one means flow. And the third one means blow or mouth. So right away, when I look at those words, what I hear is healing flows from Yahuah's mouth, which makes sense for Rapha in the way that we use healing, but doesn't make sense for forsake until, you kind of like meditate on it. And so this is what I got. We receive our healing when we spend time with, read, listen, meditate on Yahuah's word. And when we don't, or just need encouragement, we may feel, think, and act as though we are lost, unloved, or uncared for, forsaken people. And that kind of reminds me of like before we came into the awakening, or before I came into the awakening, you just feel like you don't fit in, like you're abandoned, like you can't really figure it out, but you don't fit in where you are and you don't know why you're different. And so you feel forsaken, but Yahuah is slowly but surely like baby stepping you into healing. He's baby stepping you into Rapha, because that's who he is. And so he is the Yahuah who heals. And so he is walking you through that process. So he's never forsaken you, and he's continually healing and filling up your cup, and because he's just amazing. So that's what I got from that word when the mom told me. And so hopefully that blesses you. And and so then next is the review of the reflection. So these are the questions from, wait, where'd it go? Okay, there it is. These are the questions from yesterday. Did anybody answer them and want to share what they thought from yesterday? Okay, I'll answer them then. So, how do I feel when I see or prepare my pump and its parts? I used to feel super exhausted. I used to feel like I'm tired of doing this. This is too much. But it's all about your perspective. Like I was saying yesterday, how you feel about doing something, especially nourishing your baby, they can feel that emotion through it. And so then I just had to do different tips and tricks so I wouldn't have to be connected to the pump so long. I got me a wearable pump so I could have my hands and do my dishes or take a nap or whatever I was doing and use the wearable pump. Now, I do have a caveat for taking a nap. You still need to be sitting up. You don't want the milk to spill out everywhere, even with the wearable one. Some of them don't have a seal all the way around really well, and they don't recommend that you lay down. So I would just take a nap in like a recliner and still sleep. And then what does pumping represent to me in this season? In this season, it's like just so I could go do something, because I primarily spend my time with Benjamin, or he primarily spends his time with me. And so I don't need to pump, but if I did pump, it would be so I would have milk for me going somewhere. But now he's almost 1, so he can pretty much survive until I get back, unless I'm going to be gone, like a day or something. He could just eat food and be okay. If you could speak grace over yourself while pumping, what would you say? I would say, even though you're pumping, you're not a cow. So don't feel like you have to stay hooked up. You're still beautifully and wonderfully made, and Yahuah loves you. And those would be like my 3 affirmations just off the top of my head. And even if you don't feel like sharing them, I do highly suggest that you do the journal questions, especially if you're pumping now or will be in the future, because sometimes pumping can be hard and laborious, and you're not going to want to do it, and you don't feel good, and all the things. And so it's good to have the affirmations ahead of time. If you get into a negative headspace, it's hard to affirm yourself, come up with affirmations. It's easier to do it if you already have them than it is to like pull that from yourself. So I definitely would recommend you doing it, even if you don't feel like sharing it. All right, let's get to the meat of the matter. So as like yesterday, I got 2 videos. Now this one in the pink is not really about pumping, but it was a question that I think somebody had on the first or second day about being able to breastfeed if you had inverted nipples. And so because I heard that question, I put that video in there. So we're going to start with this lady on this side, and then we're going to watch the second one.
One way to determine if your flange is the correct size is by looking at it when you're pumping. So you don't want your nipple rubbing up against the insides, or you don't want your areola or a large portion of your areola getting sucked into this tunnel part.
When you have inverted nipple, then you can use breast pump for few minutes or nipple everters to get the nipple out, so you can initiate breastfeeding by having a good breastfeeding latch.
And while those were short, I wanted to bring y'all attention to 2 things. First thing is how she was saying, and she showed the actual flange and where your nipple should be. That was perfect. Second thing was the other lady on the other side. She showed a hand pump. Nay, that was a hand pump in her hand, with the lever like we saw in the lady from yesterday. So that's why I picked that video. Not only was she talking about how you can still pump with inverted nipples and you can still breastfeed with inverted nipples, which for some reason people feel like you can't. I don't know. But I wanted to put that information out there. But also she showed you how the hand pump, which I know we had a question about yesterday. So those were good for those 2 things as well. All right, so y'all know I got my statistics and all the things, which I really like. So I got new statistics for today. So only 35% of women actually need the standard 24 to 25 millimeter flange size that comes with most pumps. Now, 35% is not even half. So I highly suggest that whenever you get your pump, that you try it out, see how you feel. And if it doesn't suction correctly, if it feels too big, then go smaller. If it feels too small, and when it feels too small, you'll notice like you feel like you're in pain and stuff, then you need to go higher. There's another video we're going to watch after this slide that does a little bit more of like what's right and what's wrong. So I won't get super into that right now. But basically, the size that they give out with most pumps, only 35% of women can fit into those sizes. And then over 50% of mothers use the wrong size without realizing it. And as we talked about yesterday, if you use the wrong size, what you will find is that you won't be able to empty your breast properly, or you have pain when you're pumping. And so that's why we're spending like this amount of time on this thing specifically. Incorrect flange sizing can reduce milk output by 30% even when using a quality pump. So even if you have like the creme de la creme, say you have that, there's a pump out there that costs like $500. If you're using the wrong flange and it's too big, then you won't get a good suction and then you won't get like the emptiness of your breast, which is what you're going for. And I say empty, but your breasts are never empty. I just mean like you got your letdowns and it feels like a good pumping session, which you will know when it doesn't feel right. Um, or like I said, if it's too big, then you won't get a good suction around your areola. And if you don't get a good suction, then you're not going to be able to empty the breast either. And too small causes pain. Go ahead, sis.
I was just gonna say, because my breast pump, I I I think it might be too big. It did come with a measurement. It was like a sheet with holes in it, and it had sizes on it. But I believe my breast pump might be too big. But I mean, it seems to be working for me. My pumps usually fill up within 30 minutes. But my nipple, when I'm using it, when I'm done using it, my nipple, it like takes the shape of the breast pump, and it's like bigger. That's why I'm thinking that maybe I have the wrong size because my nipple is like bigger. It's like the shape of the breast pump thing.
Okay, so what I would say is it depends on, do you have like one where you can see your nipple in like while it's pumping?
Yeah, I can see my nipple, and my nipple is not as big as it is as the breast pump thing, but when I'm pumping, it kind of fills the hole.
Okay, so then it might be too big. And so how you know, which like I said, we're gonna watch a video and I think the visual will help. That's why I picked this next video because they show you like right, wrong, and they show you on a whole bunch of different nipple sizes and stuff. But your nipple should go in, but your whole areola shouldn't go in. So they'll show you in the next video, and I think because I'm telling it to you, I'm telling you what they're gonna say, but you seeing it, I think makes the difference. And then you can know for sure, like if your nipple looks like if your pump looks like what it should in the video, then you're good. If it doesn't look like it or it looks like too much is going inside, then you know that you might need to go down a size. Um, and like I was saying, if it's too big, it won't cause pain. You're just not emptying them all the way, and it may be different for you. Um, but we're gonna look at it because another thing you might have is like gapping. Uh, so say I don't know what kind of pump you have, but if you have like the one with the wires, then it'll have like a cone that goes all the way around, right? So then you'll see like gaps in space if your pump is too big. If you have the wearable ones, which essentially just look like the inside of your hand and they go on, then you'll notice it like they'll slide around and you'll have to like they should always be in something, a tank top or a bra or something. They should be in something that's going to hold them. But when they're too big, they still move and they shouldn't move. They should be suctioned on. So we'll look at the video. And then if after seeing the video, you still aren't sure, then I think then we can kind of talk because they show several. Telling you, I was happy to find this video. They show several. And I think for um, things we've never experienced before, it's better to see it than to me tell you about it. Shalom, sisters. Nice for you to join us today. Appreciate you being here. Okay. Okay. Last one is women using the wrong flange size are significantly more likely to report pain, cracked nipples, and lower milk supply. So the first two tend to go with when it's too small. So when it's too small, that's when you'll feel pain and cracked nipples. When it's a little too big, you may see like a lower milk supply, or when it's too small, you may also see a lower milk supply. But most of the time, it's the first two go with the low with the small, and then the last one goes with the big most of the time. But every woman is a little different. But I want y'all to watch this video right here because it's very informative.
Does my breast pump flange fit correctly? Pumping hurts. So am I doing something wrong? Why am I not able to express more milk? The flange or shield is the piece that is placed on the breast for pumping. Flanges come in various sizes depending on the type of pump that you have. Many women wonder how their pump flange is supposed to fit and receive conflicting advice on what to look for. Determining proper fit can be confusing and may require trial and error. Each woman is shaped differently and has her own sweet spot, which helps her to maximize how much she can pump while still being comfortable and avoiding nipple trauma. It is best to assess the fit of the flange while pumping, as nipple size increases with pumping. There are some key details to keep in mind. First, center the nipple in the flange. The nipple needs to move in and out of the flange freely. Minimize the amount of areola pulled into the flange. Avoid gaps or trapped air between the flange and breast. Mom should have no pain after the first few seconds of pumping. For best results, the nipple should be well centered and move freely in and out of the flange. If the nipple is off center, the mother may experience nipple damage, pain, or it may affect emptying of the breast. It may take a few tries to get the nipple centered. It gets easier with practice. When pumping, the nipple should move in and out of the flange without becoming stuck. Many mothers find that a small amount of oil smeared on the flange allows the nipple to slide freely, which increases comfort. Here we see the nipple and a minimal amount of areola is pulled into the flange. This is a good fit. Here we see multiple examples of flanges that are too big for the nipple size. A flange that is too big will pull too much breast tissue into the shaft, potentially causing significant pain that is felt around the base of the nipple and on the areola, and possibly reducing the volume of milk pumped. These flanges fit much better. Please note that only a minimal amount of areola is pulled into the flange. When the flange is placed on the breast, we want it to rest on the skin of the breast around the nipple. Avoid gaps and air between the plastic and the breast, as this will affect suction. Here, you can see air in the flanges when the suction breaks. Here you can see air in the flange. Pushing the flange back into the breast may help with fit. Sometimes it's hard to find a perfect fit. Although this shield appears somewhat large and there is an air gap, this was the most effective and comfortable fit this mother could find. It's not uncommon for women to think they need a larger flange if they have large breasts. This is often not the case. It is key to look at the size of the nipple. As you can see here, this mother has flat nipples. When fitting flanges, it's important to check the fit while pumping because nipples change their shape with pumping. This is particularly true with flat or inverted nipples. Here you can see the same nipple before and after pumping. Here we see the same mother using a flange that is too large. A significant amount of areola is pulled in. She reports pain and less milk pumped with this size. This mother is quite knowledgeable and has determined what she needs through experimentation. Despite her breast size, the 21 millimeter flange, one of the smallest available, is the best fit for her. These are some signs that the flange size may be too small. Painful rubbing of nipple in the flange. nipple trauma from excessive rubbing of the nipple in the flange, nipple not moving freely inside of the flange, purple changes of the nipple and or a pale ring around the base of the nipple, little milk is being expressed, pain with pumping. These are some signs that the flange size may be too large. Excess areola is drawn into the flange, sensation of pulling pain, too much air or gaps between the breast and the flange, little or slow expression with a need to also hand express, an inability to raise the suction sufficiently for adequate milk drainage, pressure ring around the areola after pumping. The size of flange needed may vary throughout the lactation period. For example, early postpartum, due to increased blood flow and swelling, such as engorgement, the mother may be more comfortable with the larger flange size. After her supply is regulated, she may find she needs a different size flange. This is why some women find the flange size given to them in the first few days postpartum needs to be changed weeks later. Some women need a different size flange for each breast. We suggest experimentation to determine the best flange fit.
Sorry, I'm still getting over whatever this is. So that video, sister, that's what I was saying. Like they show what too small and what too big looks like, and so I felt like that is a little bit more helpful than me just telling you. Um, and like she said, your nipple should change shape when you pump, like because you're pulling it in and out repeatedly, at a certain increment, and so it should change shape. But hopefully that gave you insight into what too big and what too small looks like, and that was helpful. And really, I mean, some people say you can measure your nipples and then you can know just about. But if you use the nipple chart, that's one of the easiest ways. The one that you said your pump came with, and then you can see what's the closest one, and then try that one and see how you feel. But it's really mostly about comfort and how much areola goes in there, and then making sure the nipple is centered when it's in there. But even if, say, the chart says you're a 23, right, and you get a 23 and it's painful, you are not a 23. So no point of this process should feel painful. It is not. It's not the way it's supposed to be at all. Right. Okay, so this is the last meat of the matter for today. This is the last one. So flange size facts. Your flange size is based on your nipple diameter, not your breast size or fullness. So like she was saying in the video, a lot of people are like, oh, I have big full breast, or even I have small full breast or medium full breast, then I must need this big old flange. You don't. It's really about your nipple. And that's something to definitely keep in mind, because without doing it correctly, you can cause all sorts of problems. And a correctly fitting flange allows your nipple to move freely in and out of the tunnel without rubbing, pinching, or pulling areola tissue. Now, because your nipple and your areola are connected, you will get some tissue in there, but you don't want to see like your whole areola going in there, because then it's too big. And they come in all types of sizes. Oh, and that was another thing I really liked about the video, was when she said that you may have a different size on each breast. That happened to me my first time, and I was so confused because nobody told me about that. They were just saying measure your nipple and then put it on, but one side was producing really well and then one wasn't, and I couldn't figure out why. And then when I went down a size of flange on one side but kept the other side the same, perfection. And then I was cooking with hot grease, as the old folks say. And so that is totally a thing. And they range from 15 to all the way to 36, depending on your brand. But just try them out and see if yours comes with two. Try out those sizes. If it just doesn't feel right, or you're not seeing milk like you should, which we talked about what your milk output should be yesterday, for baby size as well. Okay, so post feed or post pump nipple measurement gives you the most accurate because it adds just like 1 to 2 to your measurement when choosing the flange. Now you can do it pre and then just add that 1 to 2 millimeters and just see how you feel. And when they say post, they don't mean that you need to empty it and then check, because if you're using the wrong size and trying to empty it, you may not get there. So you don't want to go through 30 minutes of torture and then be like, oh, it's the wrong size, So if it hurts, change it. And some offer like inserts. So some pumps only come with one size flange, and then the insert is different. So I had LV the first pregnancy, and that's how they did it. They only have one flange size, but they provide a whole bunch of different inserts. I've also used Mom Cozy. They're one of like a cheaper wearable pump, and they did the same thing. They had the inserts to stop women from having to buy all these flange sizes. They have one size flange, and then you just stick in the inserts, and so that was helpful. And then the custom sizing tools are the things that where you just basically stick your nipple in the hole and see which one is um the most comfortable. So if only your nipple fits in the hole, then it's too small. If your nipple and most of your areola fits in the hole, then it's too big. So you're like the lady who was saying, you're looking for a sweet spot. And so making sure that you find that sweet spot helps you to produce more milk and to be more comfortable during the process. All right. So any questions from the past 2 days? Because this was like part 2 of the pumping. So I wanted to make sure we spent some time on the phalanges and the parts and pumping as well. So does anyone have any questions from the past 2 days before we get into the journaling of pumping?
I just want to say that it was a great video. Visuals speak 1,000 words. And I like the idea about putting a little oil in there too. That, because I remember like a drying, like feeling really dry at first. So that would have helped a lot.
Yeah, I actually forgot to mention that, but that's another reason that I like this video. Thank you. The oil is life. It's a game changer. I was gonna say life changer. It's a game changer. A little olive oil goes a long way. Coconut oil, all of those things are safe, if they get transferred into your milk. And so that's a game changer. And yeah, that's what I meant about me trying to explain what it looks like. Let me just show you and since they do it on so many different types of nipples, they had the one lady with the large breasts with small nipples, and they had another lady with small breasts and large nipples. And so since they have so much variety in the video, it really helps you to like hone in on hopefully you may not have seen yourself exactly, but you saw someone that kind of looked like what yours looked like, and then you were able to see what the right fit or the incorrect fit would look like on your body. And so I greatly appreciate that video. That one. I'm sorry. You have no idea how many videos I watched before I found that. Because I knew you needed to see it. But if I did it myself, it's just one me, right? So I needed to find like a whole bunch of people. And so I watched a lot of videos to find out. Praise you.
I actually use the oil, and it is helpful. I put the oil on my nipple, directly on my nipple, the coconut oil, and it really does help with the pulling. Because if I don't use it, then I'll feel some pulling. But when I do use it, I don't feel anything. It's like really extremely comfortable.
Sorry, he's like doing acrobats over here. It's time to eat. The yeah, the like I said, the oil's game changer for sure. I don't even know why they don't say that when you buy the pump. Like I feel like it should be in there. If you're having discomfort, please don't return the pump. Just put some oil and see if that helps, or change the flange size and see if that helps. But there's so many things that people need to tell people in the breastfeeding world that they don't say. So, you know. But oh yeah, I am, sister. It's a thing. I'm coming to it. Anybody else have any more questions? Because we're gonna ride right into the journal. And then, like I said, today we'll just get out early. I knew you had a question. Go ahead.
Um, is Mom Cozy and LV the best brands, or is that
No,
just what
well,
you have experience with?
no. Okay, so it depends. Like I was saying yesterday, it depends on what you're looking for. So, I picked LV the first time because I was going to have to work, and so I didn't want a pump that I had to be plugged into, and that like be plugged into the wall and stuff. But I also wanted like a super nice, quiet pump because when I was working at that time, I did a lot of video, like all day pretty much, and a lot of phone calls and meetings. And so I didn't want people to be like, "What's that noise? What's that noise?" So, and so I picked a quiet and then wearable so you couldn't see pump. And I just went with the LV. But they also have like Willow has a wearable pump. Mom Cozy is the same. However, Mom Cozy costs half as much as the two of those are. It is not as quiet though, but if you're on a budget, Mom Cozy will get you there. And she's on Amazon, by the way. You can read the reviews and stuff for her. LV is on Amazon as well, but they also have like their own uh, website and stuff. But they are. I always preferred a wearable pump, which is why I went with one that was in that capacity. I'm not saying that that's the best. Whatever's going to be best for you is going to depend on your lifestyle and what you do. You know, some women prefer the hospital grade, but that requires that you be like plugged in. And then some women prefer like to be able to go on the go. Like you can the wearable ones you can do while you jog, while you're at the park, whatever. You just make sure you bring a bottle and a little ice pack bag thing. So you can it gives you like the selling point of them costing so much money is that it gives you the capability to be like on the go and do the things. But you don't even have to like go outside if you want to wash the dishes, if you want to do, whatever you want to do. So that's the selling point of the wearables. The portables, because they have the wires, people say they have more suction, but they are not wired to the wall. So you could just stick the extra wire that's connecting the two pumps together, you could stick that in your shirt. But some people don't like that. And so then they don't swing that way. Other people don't mind the wall because it's hospital grade, their insurance covered most of it, all those things. And they don't mind sitting there for 20 to 30 minutes. And so that's why I said it really depends on what you're gonna do in your life and like how you want to set it up and that type of stuff. But to speak to the wearable, I also heard that Lanasol has a wearable pump. Some people were saying that that one was really good. Um, and I heard about it in North Carolina. They were saying the Medicaid in North Carolina is covering the Lanasol wearable pump, like free covering it. and it's a different brand. Now, I personally haven't experienced it, but if I'm going to buy something, even if it's coming from my insurance, you could still search it on Amazon or, like like a review site and just see, because, people's reviews on their websites be whatever. uh, I just feel like you can change them. So I want to go on Google or Yelp or Amazon and see that your product is like actually legit. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go to your website. I want to go somewhere that I feel like is governed by somebody outside yourself. But that's just me. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of those on here on the website, and I forgot to send you the link yesterday, but I'm gonna try to see if you can review it if I send you the link, or I'm gonna just send you a screen recording of what's on
Yeah, that sounds cool. And sis put a picture of her wearing her mom cozy out and about in the chat. And so that's what I meant. Like I went for the mom cozy the second time and I just took it with me wherever I wanted to go. And even if I wasn't going anywhere and I was at home, I wanted to cook dinner or whatever, I could put it in and still go and do what I wanted to do, and not have to be connected to the wall. For me, that was the one thing I didn't want to do, is be connected to the wall. But like I say, it depends. If your insurance is going to cover the wall one and you cool with it, then go with that. If they will spring for a little higher and pay for you not to be connected to the wall, then go for that, because then that gives you more flexibility of all the things that you can do. And even if you stay sitting down and don't go anywhere, then at least you have the ability to go somewhere when you want to.
Yeah, I'm definitely probably gonna go with the wearable one because after my rest time, I'm the only one that cooks in the house, so
Oh yeah,
there's
Natalia, you do not, because the at 20 and 30 minutes doesn't sound like that long. But when you have to do it 12 to 16 times a day, it's a lot of time.
yeah,
Shalom, sister. Thank you for coming. And so that's why I talk about the wearable ones. If you can, like I said, I think Lanasol came out with one. It's they are they're mostly known for like the pump pads, but I heard that they came out with a new one and that the Medicaid in this state was covering it for free, like hands down. They just gave it to you. Um, no copay or nothing. And so that's why I'm just saying, definitely see what your insurance will cover. And then some of them will cover a higher one or a different one, but then you have to pay a percentage of that. So definitely look into that. Get whatever you can, from them. But just remember how your life is set up. So what you don't want to do is get it for free and then it be useless when you could have maybe spent $30 of a copay to get one you actually want and it be useful. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you definitely want to make sure it fits your lifestyle, and fits your lifestyle is what makes it best for you, not, you know, what somebody else says about it or thinks about it or whatever, or what works best for somebody else. It's what fits your lifestyle, because they're all going to have like a flange that's going to work well with your body, because they're trying their best to make sure that every woman has a flange. So it's not really about the flange. You want to pick the kind of breast pump first, and then you can dwell in on the flanges and make sure that the flange is going to fit you, if that makes sense.
yeah. They have a couple different ones on here, so we'll send it over to you.
Okay, cool. And we'll look at it. Sister,
Oh, and
oh,
tomorrow
go ahead.
also, I might be late because I have an extended doctor's visit. They said it might be an hour or more, so I'm not sure if I'm
Okay.
gonna
Well, tomorrow
be
we're
back.
just gonna play play a game and go over some light information. Tomorrow is really like our review day. It's called Trash or Treasure. So we're gonna talk about when milk is trash and when milk is treasure. And so I want to make sure that we don't be throwing away milk we don't need to throw away, and also make sure we don't be sending our baby to places they don't need to go with other substances. And so we're going to talk about, is milk trash or treasure, depending on what we are ingesting and doing and all the things. And so we're going to do that, and it'll be quick. It'll be just like this. And then we'll do our last minute takeaways, and we'll talk about the survey and stuff. And any other questions y'all have, and then we'll be gone. So it won't be too bad. But if you're late, that's fine. Just send me a message. It's no big deal.
All right.
Julio. Ooh, sorry.
Shalom, shalom. I wanted to ask, have you ever come across a glass breast pump?
Like completely glass?
Yeah,
Or like the flange is glass?
either or, but yeah, either.
Most of the time they're made out of some form of silicone or plastic. I mean, they use like the fanciest fancy plastic that they can, because it's gotta be able to hold heat and cold.
Mhm.
But I'm looking it up as we speak.
Because I mean, I don't know if they had breast pumps back in our like parents and grandparents' days, but I know the glass is always safer than plastic health wise, right? We think about the microplastics. I mean, I know if this is all that there is, then hallelujah, but it's also for those that have the marketing minds. If it's not available yet, that's something that could be made, marketed somehow. Because I'm sure there are plenty of frou people that would prefer glass.
Well, see, um my only thing about glass is the friction. Hold on, let me get. Hey, I couldn't think. He just kept shaking them keys. Couldn't even form my sentences. The only thing about glass I'm thinking is the friction of the nipple inside. Like most of that is normally some sort of plastic or silicone to actually pump it. Now you probably could find a glass pump that was a hand pump with the lever, because then you're the one making the suction and it's pumping into glass. And now I know they have glass bottles, like you can feed your baby in glass bottles. Um, but most people say, I don't say but, and most people say back in the day we did the hand expression, which we watched in the, was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We watched the lady hand express. So most people say the old school way is to hand express into a bowl or something like that, and then pour that into a bottle. So people who want to be like super clean, or not saying anything else is dirty, but the people who have the things the way they want it to be, they typically hand express because they trust their hands, they trust their bowl or whatever, and you can hand express into a glass bowl if it makes you feel better, and then you can pour it into a glass bottle from there. Everything was glass. But I haven't heard, and I did a Google search right quick. I don't see any pumps that are glass. I see like antique glass pumps, but they have, matter of fact, I can just show you. So this is what I'm seeing, like, and this is actually good. It's a good question, because yesterday one of the sisters had asked me about the handheld pump, and I was saying either you could use the lever or you could use the ball, but we didn't see anybody using the ball because it's old schools back in the day. So these balls, it worked the same way. You put your breast in there and you push the ball, and as you push the ball, it's pulling your nipple in and extracting the milk, and then the milk goes into this little bump down here. Now, my only problem with that is, Ty, you only gonna be able to pump for so much time before you gotta pour that out, because that's not even maybe an ounce of space for milk at the bottom of that bulge here. But yeah, most of it is silicone. The handheld ones, like I said, I can see those. Yeah, because they have plastic-free glass bottles and milk storage, but I'm not seeing like a glass pump unless it is a handheld pump. So those pumps may be glass. And then you can if you get a glass pump, but it comes with a plastic bottle, if you find one that can fit the glass bottles that you buy, you can just twist that part disconnects and you can twist it right on there. And then there's another one with the pump there. But these are all, so I'm seeing most of the glass are the handheld pumps. I'm not seeing like an electronic pump, which makes sense because guess what they wasn't doing back in the day? They weren't using no electronic pump. That's for doggone sure. But that's the best I see for glass.
Look like somebody's grandma.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. They
No, I'm talking about myself right now. Your picture went away, and then I saw myself. I said,
well, at least you look blessed and highly favored.
hallelujah.
Oh, I had to switch screen. That's why my picture went away. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question because it shows the versatility of the handheld pumps. And like I said, I would highly advise having a handheld pump because if you forget to charge your pumps and you're out and about and you need to feed your baby, the handheld will still do its job because your hands work. Whether it's pulling the lever or pushing the squeeze, you will still be able to get milk for your baby. And the major point of this whole thing is to feed your baby. So, and you can get those for cheap, not the glass ones, but you can get the handheld ones. Those are pretty cheap. We're talking like $20, you know. They're good when you're in a pinch. But the other lady, the third lady in the video we watched yesterday, that was her preferred method. So, you know, I think she doesn't have to remember to charge anything and it fits into her lunchbox. That's what she was saying. So it just depends on what you prefer. Anybody else got any more questions? Or do y'all have any more questions? Now we're gonna slide into our little journaling section today. What are we doing? Read the shreds. Little mister. Come on, mister. Okay. So these questions, I did like 3 different sections because we really talked about 3 different things in this section. In these 2 days, we talked about what physical signs or emotions have you noticed that may suggest that your flange size isn't the right fit? And so being aware of that. What part of the breastfeeding experience has taught me the most about yourself? Because when you get frustrated or overwhelmed, all those things, however, your typical reaction, that's what you get without thinking. And so, what has this taught you about tough moments, happy moments, sad moments, all those things? You want to think about that. And then, how can you show compassion or practical support to a mother who is struggling with breastfeeding or pumping? And we also talked about a whole bunch of ways that you could possibly help someone, or you want to think about how you could help someone specifically and what would feel comfortable to you helping someone, what you would feel comfortable doing helping somebody. And now I'm going to leave it there for a few minutes before we go to the tips and takeaways.
Sis, would you mind leaving it on the slide where somebody could help somebody else? Because I missed that and I just want to read it for myself.
Oh, yeah, it's still up there. That's the last question. Do you see it?
I see the question, but was there a slide where you were informing people of how they can help?
Oh yeah, we talked about that yesterday. I was
Oh, that was yesterday. Okay.
but I don't have any problem, we got plenty of time because we're running early. The Yesterday I was talking about how when you're breastfeeding, you may be thirsty, so if you see someone who if you see a mother who looks like she's having a hard time, how can I help? Do you need help? Maybe she needs a nursing cover. If you see her scrambling in that bag, child, she forgot the nursing cover. I've been out and I've been looking for something and then end up having to use my jacket or something. And if I had a jacket on, it was because it was cold. So now I'm cold, but I'm covered. You know what I mean? So they may be scrambling looking for a nursing cover. If they're nursing without water, you can offer them, a bottle of water because nursing makes you thirsty. Just trying to be considerate, of your sister. And when we talked about it yesterday, I was saying how, we all call each other sister, but to actually be a good sister, in life to someone else, I must see that you need help and then try to meet that need legitimately. So if I see that you're nursing and you're trying to sometimes women will do like this, but it's because they feel exposed, but they don't have a nursing cover. And I have like 5 because when I was getting them, I wasn't I don't know what I was doing, child. Anyways, so if I see that you could just have it. Oh no, I'm not gonna take it from you. No, child, I got 5. Just and it's fine. And then now you have an extra one. And so that's another thing. While we're on this isn't a part of it, but it just got me to thinking. Make sure that you get more than one because your baby may throw up on it. It may get dirty because you're nursing them and you're eating above them, and now you've got food on it. So I have one that goes in my bag, my baby bag, and I don't take it out unless it gets dirty. I have one that's in my living room. So in case I'm in my living room and people are over, I don't have to go looking for the cover. It stays in my living room. I have one in my bedroom. And then, like I said, I got 2 extra. So the one that's in my baby bag stays in the car. So I know I always have one in the car. And then I have one in the living room, which is on one side of the house, and I have one in the bedroom, which is on the other side of the house. And then I have 2 extra. So at least try to think about where you're going to be nursing and then get that many nursing covers. So if you're primarily going to be on the go, make sure that you keep one in your car, even if it's not in your baby bag. Keep one in your car so you always have one in your car. And then I would definitely recommend to have one in your house. It's not going to be every time that you're going to be able to go in a room and close the door. So the nursing cover gives you that, especially if the child is already on 100. You're not going to be able to just, oh, I'll be right back, or if you have company over and then be gone 30, 40 minutes, depending on how long it takes to settle them down and then nurse them. Because that's the way I used to do it. And I was like, so I need a nursing cover for the house for when people come over so I can still be still be a good host and still feed my baby and not have to seclude myself. Most people only visit for like an hour. If I spent 40 minutes in the back, then I missed the whole visit. So I definitely recommend if you are going to get them that you get at least 2, one for your house and one for your car or your stroller or wherever the place is you want to put it. And then I got a few extra as well. But I say all that to say what we talked about with supporting another mother is no shame, just support. So if you see them in need and help them out, giving them some water, encouraging them, sitting with them, trying to soothe the baby. Make sure you ask permission first. Don't touch people's children without their consent. I have to say that because people do. Uh, but just try your best to be the sister you would want in the moment where you're frustrated and still trying to feed your child. Um, because anything causing the baby to cry sends like a signal in your brain and makes you feel like the world is ending. And at the same time, you know that you bought whatever and you can't find it. And so that's what we talked about supporting another mother yesterday, was really being the sister, that you would want in that moment and trying to do the best you can to be supportive without, being overbearing, and definitely without any shame, because breastfeeding alone in our community, now in the Hebrew community, is becoming more accepted, but in the Black community, it is not as accepted. It's actually quite shameful. And so making sure that even if, you don't know if the sister is Hebrew or whatever she's got going on, just trying to be supportive of, like, do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? Do you want me to get you some water? I can get you some water. Do you need something to eat? Whatever it is, just trying to help her in that situation. And so those were some of the examples I gave yesterday. And so today's question is just thinking about, how you could show compassion yourself, something you would feel comfortable doing, not necessarily, it can be one of the things I said, but it also could be something different. And then having that in your mind. So then if it does happen, you're not scrambling, trying to figure out how you can help them. You already have, like, okay, I know that I keep extra water with me. I wouldn't mind giving somebody a bottle of water. And that is monumental when you're nursing, because that baby takes all the everything. Go ahead, sister.
Hallelujah. Toda for answering my questions while we're journaling, while they're journaling. So my next question is, like, say you are, I don't know, say y'all on the July 2025 Africa trip, and y'all all on a bus together, and sis has on her cover wrong, and you can see her boob, right? And if you can see her boob, all the men on the bus can see her boob. What do you do?
So, so if sis has on her cover wrong, either it is her first time putting the cover on, which means that she's normally at home when she nurses, right? Because if I'm at home by myself, just me and the baby, I don't need a cover. What am I doing? What am I using it for? So maybe she's a stay-at-home mom and this is what she does at home, but she's at least showing, trying to be gracious by putting it on. But they can be difficult to put on depending on the kind that you get. Some of them, like the ones I have, you just stick your head in and stretch it over your arms and fold it down and it works. But some of them have like a little belt and they hook. It's a whole thing. So depending on what kind she has, it may be just a user error, or it may be, like she just didn't notice. With that, I would have walked beside her, sat beside her, and then I touch people. So I just put my hand on her leg and be like, sister, I just wanted you to know that I could see your body but I'm sitting on the side that you can see the body. Does that make sense? So while I'm informing her, I am covering her. Because
Hallelujah.
that's what we should be doing, is covering the sister. So if it's on this side I can see, I'm gonna sit on this side and then tell her about it. And then so she has time to adjust under her arms while I'm still sitting there being a covering to her. Because that's what I would want in that time. I wouldn't want somebody to be like, I can see that over there. And then now everybody looking, because now you done made me a public spectacle. That's not what I would have wanted for myself. So that's what I would do, is just sit beside her and do everything in love, because all of these things that we're using, I'm sure when we were in the land, we just tied like something around us and fed the baby. It wasn't something you had to put your head through or something that you had to fasten and make sure it was fastened correctly. There's all different types of nursing covers. And then, like I said, so it may just be she doesn't know how to use that one appropriately, or that she just doesn't use it and is now trying to do it. And the other thing you got to think about is she's doing it while the baby is crying, because normally they don't give you there's no warning. They go 0 to 100 when they're hungry. So you're trying to get the nursing cover on real fast and feed the baby at the same time. So she might also have just forgotten to check the surroundings. Because with the ones you pull over your head, when you get them under the baby, they can still show you have to like roll them down to make sure that they hit your waist. And so it just may be a learning curve. But yeah, that's how I would handle it. That's how I would want it handled for me.
Toda. And I just thought of something I can try to make out of linen. Hallelujah.
Yeah, because they have cotton ones. They do. They have cotton ones. The cotton ones do come with like a little belt loop you put over your neck, and it covers the front. Um, But I would like for it to have both parts, one for the back as well, because the 100% cotton ones I've seen only cover the front. They don't cover the back. And so if sister is more endowed, right? And
Yeah.
she's covering the front, then this side is out, depending on what kind of shirt you have on, right? And so if, just food for thought, if you're gonna make that, I'd like to see it cover the back as well. Maybe have a front and a back section. And maybe even if you could have a little piece for the side to go under here.
You
Not
coming
saying,
to Shavuot?
yeah, Yahuah willing, I'll be there.
Hallelujah. I'm gonna do my best to try to make one or two designs, and then you can try them out.
Yeah, that would be great. Cause I definitely think I think we could do it ourselves. I don't know what mine. Oh, here's the one. I don't know what it's made out of. I don't even think I looked it up, and it doesn't have a tag for me to know. But this is one of like the fancy brand people. They call them milk snob. That's what they call. It doesn't even have a tag to tell me what it's made out of. Oh wait, here you go on the side. 96% rayon and 4% spandex. But since we're on the subject, all it does is you put it over your head and you know which side is the right side because they got their little tag on it. But what I was telling you is, say I'm putting it on and I put Ben in here, right? But I don't roll. I don't know if y'all can see. I don't roll the back. All of this is out once I lift up my shirt. And so that's why I was saying that once you get the baby in, you have to roll the back down. And now I'm covered all the way around. So that's why I was saying sister
Yeah.
may not be used to using that. And she got it on and she put her baby in. If you don't roll it down, all of that can be out. So you got to roll it. But I think that's just like the material. But this is typically, like, even when I was feeding Rakam, this is the material that you typically get. But you gotta make sure you roll it down, because when you first put it on, it doesn't roll itself. So then if I lift my arms or if I move around, or like Vanyahu be kicking and then all that stuff, and it's not all the way rolled down, then all of my skin is out on the side. So yeah. Hallelujah. That was good. That was a good little tidbit. That's not even in there. We weren't even gonna talk about nursing covers. So that was good. Good question. So yeah, that's how they typically work. Like I said, they have cotton ones, but those same concept. It has a loop. You put your head through the loop. It covers the front, and it's just wide. But it normally comes to like right here on your body. It doesn't go all the way around, and that's what I was saying. I'd like to see one that looks more like a vest. That way you could have more full coverage instead of just a slate in the front. Because when you move that arm, depending on what kind of shirt you got on, like this actually lifts up. This part separates from the dress, so I could still have coverage in my back. But if you're just wearing a regular t-shirt and you lift it up in the front, the sides are also exposed. And if it's only a front cover, then your side is still exposed. And so that's why I was saying I'd like to see something have a little bit more coverage for this under part. Maybe you can make it in sizes. I don't know. But I'd like to see a little more undercarriage, undercover, because that's where the skin be at. You know? Like that's where the skin exposure comes from. So I'd like to see that. And I think that's why they went with the full and just put your head in, because then it worn properly, it will cover your entire body to your waist. But if you don't know how to use it and you just throw that bad boy on, you got skin out. So that's my soapbox.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead,
And
Sister
did I
Janae.
miss? Oh, go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
Did I miss the class that where things help the breast milk to come? Did I miss that class?
I think we did that yesterday.
Because I'm wondering, you can tell me later. I don't want to disrupt class. I want to plant a few things that would help sisters' breast milk, like herbs or something.
Okay, we didn't go as far as herbs, but since tomorrow is a lighter day, I can add that in there. I don't have a problem with that. We can cover different herbs for breast milk production. I know we watched a video where she was talking about how she helped herself. Like she talked about like more natural, like things you can listen to and things you can do and relaxing and massage. We talked about like that type of stuff, but we didn't really get into herbs. That was yesterday. But we can definitely do a few slides about herbs. I think I can throw that in there for tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow's a light day anyways. I just want to make sure we leave, with clearness of mind. And so I left a little bit more space for questions. But I'll put that on the agenda for tomorrow.
Soda.
Think you would say Bebeka Shah? Is that what y'all? I don't know.
Bawakwa, but I actually now I usually just say, like a blessing. May Yahuah Baruch your house, something like that. Barak your house. Hallelujah. Bayitka, Bayatka.
Hallelujah. Go ahead, sister, your name.
So I actually have that on my baby registry. So I want to actually send you that link too, because I do try to look for 100% cotton or 100% linen in things, in certain things, because of, the knowledge of the healing power or whatever. But I just feel like I've been forgetting a lot of things, and I just would like to see if you can like look at it and see exactly what I'm forgetting that I need on the list. Um, just so
Yeah,
you
send me the
know.
link, sis. I'll look over it. And also, while you're talking about that, I just want you to know that that's normal because you have something they call mom brain, which only focuses on what's important, right? It doesn't focus on like other things. It's very tunnel vision on what's important. And so right now in this moment, what's important for you is to get the baby out healthy and safe. That's it. So the
Right.
kind of stroller you're gonna get, nobody cares. I mean, people want to help you buy it, but your brain doesn't think that's important right now because it's not important right now. It is important for you to get it on the registry, get the right things. But so say if I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, sis, in the first year, you need to put everything you want in the first year because once people buy you something for the registry, they really don't intend to buy you nothing else for real until until your baby turns one. And
1,000 diapers
and
in different
so
sizes.
mm-hmm. And you can also, if you're doing it on Amazon, you can do a diaper fund. So if someone can't afford to buy you like a whole case or a pack or whatever, then they can add to the fund. And then when the fund reaches a certain amount, then you can use the fund money for diapers. Amazon does have that as well. But I'll definitely look at your registry. I just wanted you to know that that's totally normal. Like your body is only thinking about what you need now and it's not thinking about what you're gonna need for the next 6 months. Like Banyahu was a big old baby. So all the newborn clothes they got, he had them for like a week and a half. And then he was in 0 to 3 months. And I had a slew of them. I ended up donating them to some other person to try to help them out. And so you want to mix like sis was saying, make sure you mix up like what you're putting on your registry because if you get all newborn, you sending them bad boys back because or giving them to somebody else because your baby may be bigger and I'm telling you, it was like a week. And some of the stuff I felt bad because family members bought them and I couldn't send them back, but he also couldn't wear them. And so definitely make sure you get different sizes of things because you don't know if your baby's going to be, you know, I mean, he's big, but he was normal size. He was like 7 pounds, 13 ounces, I think, something like that. And so that's a normal range for a baby. So he fit newborn, but for a moment. And then he was 0 to 3. And so you want to try to get all different sizes on your registry. You want to try to get all different sizes of diapers, tons and tons of wipes. Like it don't matter what size diaper they wear, they need wipes. So I've seen, some people may only put one box. Somebody gonna get you that box, but then what you gonna do after that box? So you want to try to put multiple boxes up there and have tons of different things. And for people who cannot sew into you and buy those things, make sure you put gift cards on your registry as well. So then they might only have $20, but the stuff that you want is more expensive than that. And so I also put on there on mine, I did like a teether, which was like $9. Because I know not everybody can give it, you know, the $400, $500. And some people may not even have $100, but they want to help. So if you could just give me this teether, I'm going to hold on to it till my baby can use it. But guess what? When my baby grow that first tooth and start screaming in the middle of the night, praise Yahuah for you who got it for me 4 months ago with $9. But guess what I don't have to do in the middle of the night is try to buy a teether. And so just having different things that people can different ranges. You know, you want to have your expensive stuff up there because if they get those things, it's definitely a blessing to you. But you also want to have some cheaper things up there so that other people can help you in the vein that it doesn't hurt them to help you. You know, and that was one thing with my first child. My brother, he was in college at the time, and he said, "I bought you a gift," and he was so hyped, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then when I looked, it was a Perry bottle. It was like $7, but guess what? He got to write his own little Amazon little card thing and send it to me. Like he didn't need my mom's help to buy me the gift because it was in his budget of what he could afford as a teenager. And so you just want to make sure. I say all that to say, make sure you have different price points so everybody can feel included and be able to support you without feeling like they breaking the bank. But yeah, for sure, text it to me. I'll look over it and I'll send you some notes of things I think you need, and probably some things that you're not gonna need. But people be hyping up certain stuff, and so people buy a whole bunch of stuff they actually don't need. Um, and Amazon only allows returns within, it's normally about 30 days. So if somebody buys it 4 months ahead of time, they're a little dicey about giving you your money back. So you want to make sure you keep all those papers um, that are sent to you so you can show it's a registry gift, and then you can try to switch it out for something that works for you.
Okay, Toda.
Yes,
I wanted to add, I'm currently not in the position to make baby clothes, but I do have the patterns. But they do have linen baby clothes on Etsy. So some of those higher price things, I would definitely go on Etsy, just order large sizes. Because you can always put a small baby in a large outfit. You can't put a big baby in a small outfit. So, um, but yeah, if you want some 100% linen clothing, I suggest going to Etsy. I'll put Etsy on your registry.
Yeah, and that's a great idea, especially putting Etsy on your registry. If you link the different things that you're looking for, um, you can definitely find a lot of that stuff. And you know, we want to be as natural as possible for our children as you can. Go ahead, sister.
Oh, I was gonna ask, do she have like a well, first of all, I was gonna ask, wait, is she in the chat? And then I was gonna ask if she have like a store that she know of that I can go look at. But if not, it's fine.
You got a chat, sis? You got a breastfeeding chat? You talk?
I have
Hello?
a women's support group. We talked about it before. You were talking to me about it for the book club, but it's all the same. So in the which I was supposed to talk about, but I forget every time we get up here. Is
Am
book
I in
club.
it?
I think I sent you the link to join when you asked me about being in the book club.
Oh, yes.
I don't think you went all the way through the process to like be in it. I haven't gotten a request, I don't think. Did you it should have been a link, then you fill out the form, then you download Telegram, click the link, and then you make your little profile and you're in.
Oh, it's on Telegram?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Telegram has so many more features than WhatsApp. So let me tell I went through a whole thing. So I was gonna put it on WhatsApp, but WhatsApp, when you pin something, it doesn't stay for when new people come in, and I don't want to keep doing that. Telegram, when I pin it, it stays. It also has more emojis, and it allows me to have a whole bunch of different channels. And so I set up all the channels, and people just, they talk about whatever they want to talk about. And but that's where the book club is. It's that same chat. I put everything that I think women need support with in that same group. And then but you're not tied to talk about one thing. When you join the group, you have access to all the channels, and then you can talk in whatever channel you want. And they do all of that freely. I be in there, but they also talk amongst themselves, and it's nice. So yeah,
Okay, I'm looking for it
definitely
now. But
click the
who
link
was that that asked? Who was that asked about the?
if you were in it.
Uh-huh.
Her
What's your
name's
name, sis?
your name.
Yeah, Nay.
But in the
Yane.
group, it's just Nay. Like
It's Nay. Okay.
yeah, her
Um,
profile is different.
are you Nay? Are you in herbal remedies or all things Akio on WhatsApp?
No.
No. Okay.
So
All
when
right.
she's saying chat, she's talking about Telegram. So she's talking about
Yes. No,
WhatsApp.
no, no. I was just seeing if I could send it someplace else quickly. Can you
If
send
you
me
want to
another?
send it to me, if you send it to me, I can send it in the group, or I can send you the link to join the group again.
Yes, please send me another link to join because yeah, I'm digging through. Did you ask me something about a worm? I'm looking at I'm looking at all the old messages. Yes,
Oh
please just
yeah,
send
you
me
were
another
talking
one.
about a detox for type A blood or something, you said. And so I was like,
Yes.
oh, I want to know what the detox is. I don't think we ever got there,
I'm
actually.
just seeing the message. My bad. Okay,
I
so
was
I'm
like, I
I'm
don't
gonna
think we
find
ever did
like
that.
right now like one thing on Etsy, real quick. Oh, is it boy or girl?
It's a boy.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
It's boy season. They out here. Listen. Yeah.
We need more of them.
I I only had one client out of the 3 clients that gave birth in February. Only one was a girl. It's just boy season, and every time, and the boys are just big. Um, but
Your son
anywho,
is.
my my son. Oh yeah, he's huge. At 6 months, they said he was the size and height of a 1-year-old. It's like, I don't know why he's so big. He's just big. The big boy.
I see that with breastfed babies though. Because my
Yeah,
nephew
they're
was.
supposed to start. Well, they say they're supposed to start thinning out once they get mobile, but he crawls, and I know y'all. That's why this screen is, so you just see me because he be doing a lot. He crawls, stands, all the things. And he's still a big boy. It ain't stopping him from being big. Um, but my daughter, she had a lot of rolls. But when she started moving, she thinned out. But they say, there's a difference with boys and girls. I don't know. We'll see what happens. He might get skinnier, but I don't think so because he's pretty set. And he's not actually like chunky though. He's just like stocky. That's what so he just feels like solid. Oh, I got one more slide for y'all. I want to make sure I give y'all the final tips. I don't want to leave without him. Oh, she
So
put it in
loud.
the chat, the Etsy link as well.
Yeah, I see it. Hold on.
Okay. Hallelujah. Okay, so key takeaways. Sum up everything. Well, not everything, because we added a lot of stuff. But the things about the flange and stuff I had planned to talk about is your comfort matters more than your brand, more than the brand of the pump, more than the number of the flange. It matters more than any of that. So making sure that you are comfortable, and that it fits well. It's about nipple size, not breast size. So depending on how your nipples are shaped and all those things, making sure that the flange is good. And we talked about yesterday, the pump is a tool, but you are the master of the tool. So using it correctly, putting oil on it, and making sure that it's doing what you need it to do, making sure that it's properly cleaned. Oh, another tip that I forgot to mention is warming up the flanges. So cold compress on your breast gives you like a little muscle spasm and clenches them up. Just like if somebody's hand is cold and they touch you, it makes you tense up. It's the same thing with your breast. So some people clean their pump parts and then put them in the refrigerator so they stay clean. Fine. But when they come out and you're getting ready to use them, make sure you run it with warm water so they're warm to the touch. The warmth will make you release the milk better. Forgot to mention that yesterday. But make sure that you warm up your flange and any part that's going to be touching your body. And now I'm not saying you need to boil it and make it scalding hot because that has a different effect on your breast. But I'm just saying make sure you warm it up so that it feels warm to the touch. Next one is listen to your body and the pace that your body needs, and make sure you protect your peace. So any pain, frustration, or tension, not a good sign. It's not what you want. It's not what you need in your life. Um, and so then something needs to switch up. And then make sure that you simplify your routine. When you get done or after a few sessions, go ahead and clean everything, put it in the dishwasher, if you have one. If you don't have one, wash it yourself. However you want to clean it, make sure that you get it clean and then ready for the next session. What you don't want to do, which I have done so many times when I first started, was be like, okay, I'm gonna clean it later, and then now it's time to pump, and you don't have anything clean, and it you don't get as much milk out. You feel full. It's a whole problem. So making sure that you clean everything and do your stuff as you go. That way you have one less thing to do. So even if you don't have time to wash it, but you got time to throw it in the, take it apart, throw it in the dishwasher, do that. So then at least whenever you get ready to pump again, you can open the dishwasher. It might be wet, but you can dry it faster than you can wash it, you know? So at least you're setting yourself up for success. Because there's nothing like a frustrated baby and then you trying to do 10 things and then you get overwhelmed, frustrated, and it's not good. It's not good. Trust me. Did that the hard way. Um, so those are my takeaways, things to keep in mind as you move forward. And then this is my last slide. Mhm. Thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. For day number 4, my name is Khakmah, formerly known as Samantha. I obviously own Yahuah. So it's support@yadayahuah.com to email me. Yadayahuah.com is the website. If you want more information or want to contact me or whatever. And then ways to support, at the bottom there is my Cash App, $ Samantha 31792. Or you can follow me on Instagram, _Yadah_Yahuah. And eventually I'll send out the YouTube. I'm going to put all of the days of the summit on YouTube. So the whole thing is being recorded. And I put that up on YouTube at the end. It is my free gift, in hopes that people will share it with mothers that are breastfeeding or are getting ready to start their journey, and that this can be, I won't say it's all inclusive, but it's a good foundation. And we talked about a lot of different things that can help you, with breastfeeding, pumping, hand expressing, the right clothes to wear, how to uh, increase your milk output. We talked about a lot of different things so far. And so I definitely pray that it has blessed you. Does anybody have any questions before I turn off the recording? Smooth.